Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of Pod Strickland. I'm your host Shwin Poo. In this episode 514, I am not joined this week by Prez, who is dealing with good life issues, as many good life issues as are possible in this world that we live in currently. But I am joined by not close to a first-time guest of the pod, former co-host of the pod. His name is
Oh,
Doug. It's actually not Doug. It's Drew,
it's not Doug.
aka
It's
Doug.
Drew.
He has a Twitter. He never posts on it, so I'm not going to bother reading out what his Twitter is. And he is the host of Takes from Obvious Bozos, along with Zach. Drew, how you doing?
You know how nice it is now to speak with someone who actually has some pop culture, political, any sort of references outside of baseball cards and John Cena. You know what I mean? Do you know how nice that this is going to be now to talk to a human being about stuff?
Yeah, I mean, look, when it comes to Zach, you can't talk about anything that happened before the year
Like
2016. So
it's
there's a
wild.
lot.
It's absolutely wild.
Yeah, there's a lot that you can't converse with Zach about. But we're not here to talk about Zach. We're here to talk about the
No,
Knicks and
no, we're not. We are.
presumably other basketball things, which we'll get around to. Before I do that, I do have to make a few announcements. First, we know that Strickland has a YouTube channel where you may watch this podcast. If you are not done so already, please like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment that usually help to us. Strickland also has merchandise, which you can find on our website at www.thestrick.land. There's a link that'll take you to the merchandise store, and there's all kinds of cool stuff on there, like t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, coffee mugs, water bottles. You name it, we got it. Strickland also has a Patreon, which you can subscribe to. There are a number of different tiers. There's a $6 tier that gets you access to Pod Strickland's podcast that I host every Friday with Prez. You also get access to Takes from Obvious Bozos, a podcast hosted by Drew, aka Doug, along with Zach Blatter, and you get access to the Strickland Discord with conversation never stops. So the further tiers is a $9 tier that gets you access to Strickland Roll, my solo pod, which is no longer a solo pod, the pod that I now host with YC, where we rant and rave about the Knicks even more. You also get access to wonderful premium articles by Matthew Murdo, one of the best in the business, and you get access to Strickland NFL, which you guessed in this podcast with the NFL that is hosted by Constantine Menchikos and Desmond Novak. There are further tiers. There's a $15 tier, $30 tier, $50 tier, and $100 tier. This comes with a variety of additional benefits, like listening on pod recordings, merchandise discounts, and potentially host a podcast alongside yours truly one day, whether you choose to subscribe or not. It's possible without you. So, without further ado, let's get started. Nothing really has happened in the Knicks universe over the last week. I guess if there is anything to talk about since the last pod we did is that we have confirmation now that Mohamed Diawara will. We still do not know if it'll be on a two-way contract, if he'll be signed to a standard contract using the second round exception. I don't really have any thoughts about this other than that this is good, and I think this should happen. So I am pleased that it is happening. My guess is that he will get a standard rookie contract with the second round exception, and that they will not use a two-way on him. But I don't know. Do you have any mind-blowing thoughts about this breaking news that we got today?
It's breaking news. You know what's nice about this? I think it's good that he wants to come over now, right? And he's committed. So more than likely, what he's going to do is, you're right, he's going to sign the second round exception. He's going to be in the G League, effectively for probably the next 1 or 2 years, and then we're going to see if he turns out to be anything good. And I think that's nice. And I think that's probably now a pretty good way for young guys to really want to break into the league. I think that's a good route. We already saw that with Deuce. We've seen the Knicks do that with the G League now for a while. Hopefully Kolek and Peckham and all those guys, right, are ready to go this upcoming season. But I always like it. It's nice to have you just kind of this in-house kind of system. It just kind of makes sense to me. It's almost like how baseball does the farm system. It just I just think it makes sense. I just outsourcing it to other teams around the world, sure, I guess, but Rokas never showed up. He never cared. You know what I mean? And he's just doing his own thing, and no one gives a shit. So that's really all I have. I think we'll find out how good he is, or how good he could be in the next couple of years. I'm not gonna pretend I was watching Summer League. I wasn't. I saw the highlights. He looks good, but it's Summer League.
Yeah. It's Summer League is whatever. I did not watch much of it at all.
Mhm.
Even the Knicks stuff this year. I don't know. I was like, I don't think I've ever been less checked out of Summer League than I was this year. Like usually, even like last year, I mean, you were watching it, or I did. I watched all the Knicks games. This time, I like had the Knicks games on. I cannot.
Yeah, and
say
you're not
Yeah.
paying attention. You're not like, oh, it's the third quarter already. Okay.
Yeah, I genuinely was just kind of like, yeah, whatever. This team is stupid.
It's because the team's good now. That's what it is. The team's good. Like we don't have to worry about like the hope, right? Like you don't want like before it'd be like, oh, are we missing out on glimpses of a future superstar, right? When it comes to the Knicks, and now it's like, well, you got Brunson, you got Towns, right? Like they got they got guys, like they got a really good team. Like we don't need to worry about who's like the savior, quote unquote savior anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
so that's what.
It's like you don't really need them to like be awesome. Like you're not like, oh my god, if this player isn't good, we're fucked. Like that's not.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we have good basketball players, so we don't need to be as. I mean, look, you obviously want to continue to bring in talent that can produce, but if the Knicks did not do that this year, it wasn't going to be a killer. It is a killer over time if you don't bring in talent, but hopefully,
Yes.
hopefully we'll get couple of these guys, Pacome, Kolek, Huckporty, Diawara can pan out and be rotation pieces for them. I mean, I'm assuming that they will get more opportunities this season, just given all the reporting about Tibbs and the disconnect, I guess, that developed between him and the front office and the organization. So we'll see how that goes. So moving on, I don't know. I don't really have much. There's not much Knicks stuff to talk about right now. So it's kind of like this dead period. Deuce has been doing a lot of interviews. So kudos to him.
I love that for him. Isn't that great? Like he's just out there living his best life, just being just a New York guy. It's great.
Yeah, and his agent clearly is doing a good job of trying to up his profile. The only other relevant Knicks news that we have right now is that Mitchell Robinson seems to be working quite consistently on his free throw shooting. So hopefully we'll get that up to 50% this year. That would be big for the Knicks. So we'll be monitoring Mitchell Robinson's shooting percentages. Sure enough. Actually, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to ask, what do you think he's shooting at practice?
Probably like 70%.
Right? Like what really is the disconnect? I always find that interesting, like the disconnect between the game and the practice.
Well, even like unguarded catch and shoot jumpers in practice, I bet guys hit at like a fucking
like an insane clip.
Yeah, an insane clip, and then the same guys will be in the game, and you're like, oh, I hit this at maybe like 38%.
I know. I'm just it's just curious about free throws though, right? Because it's like it's one of those things that like you really don't need to worry about anything, right? Like the defense isn't coming at you whatsoever. It's the one shot that like you can just like always do in a vacuum. I wish I had the answer of why this happens, but I think Mitch should have done a underhand. I really should have. I think he would have been someone who could have pulled off an underhand free throw.
I mean, he certainly wouldn't be hurt by trying it.
That's what I'm saying. Like why? Yeah. Like why not him just be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna go underhand. Like who gives a shit? Because what's his name? Doesn't Jeremy Sochan or whatever do one-handed like lefty free throws? Like we need something crazy like that with Mitch, and I think it would work.
Yeah, Sohan, I think he's shooting lefty, right? Isn't that the big thing that he did?
That's what I think. He does like some insane thing, and it's a little better than I think it was, right? Like I wish Mitch was doing that, but hopefully he'll get some arc on his shot because that shit's like a line drive. I really haven't seen anything like that. Crazy.
Yeah. It is he doesn't bend his knees. I don't know if he can bend his knees. That might be a problem. I'm not sure that there's a fix for that if he can't bend his knees, but hopefully he just keeps playing good defense and rebounding at a high level, and
that's right.
We'll all be happy about that. There was also some reporting. I think it was Keith Smith that got this. I mean, I can't believe that this was like news at all, but he was in Vegas. I guess he talked to a Knicks executive while he was there, and they said that they want to extend Mikal Bridges, which, like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you give up 5 first-round picks for the guy. You're still out 3 of those picks that are owed out until 2031. Yeah, you probably want to keep the guy that you traded all that stuff for. So
Yeah.
not really
Yeah.
surprising, but I guess good. Good to hear.
Yeah. It's ultimately going to be like, what's the price, right? Like, what's he actually going to extend for, and that's going to be the key. But you kind of have to, right? Like, I guess you could, in theory, like try to trade him to recoup some sort of value, but I don't really know how you're doing that. Like I couldn't even like fathom any type of trade in general, like to get someone at like his price point, and then like also going to be on a reasonable contract, like any sort of assumption. And his, I don't know, like I thought he was like fine last year. I didn't really have any problems with Mikal like last year in the playoffs or anything. I think there is an underwhelming element like factor that he did, and I think he'll probably play better.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I don't know. I can't fucking do the Bridges thing again.
Like that's like
I've talked about it plenty. I think that he probably suffered more than most guys under Tibbs. Didn't seem like his role was very clearly defined, if it was defined at all in a way that made sense. So yeah, hopefully we're gonna get a better version of Mikal Bridges. Like he wasn't. I think that people go crazy. I didn't think he was terrible in the regular season. I thought he had some really discouraging stretches and habits, but I think overall he had a pretty good season. The playoffs were weird. I think all his impact stuff was terrible in the playoffs, but then like he had really insane stretches that helped you win games, and so I don't know what to make of all of that in totality. But yeah, look, the Knicks obviously need more from him moving forward, and that's what Mike Brown is here to do, and that's a big reason why I think Tom Thibodeau is out of his job as it stands right now.
I would agree.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
No, that's what I was gonna say. Like, yeah, like that's why Tibbs is gone. It's nice to not really have to worry about Tibbs anymore. There is like a relief, right? Because now there's a sense of almost like a mystery of how the season's gonna go this upcoming season. Because we could have scripted pretty much what was going to happen if Tibbs was around. We kind of knew what was going to happen because it's been so consistent, almost like year over year. Now I'm actually like, there's some excitement where I'm like, oh shit, like something different is going to finally actually happen with this team, and I think that's really exciting.
Yeah,
and I have no idea if Brown's actually like significantly better than Tibbs or the same level. Like I don't really know. I think he's always been a good coach. He's always been underrated, and he's always been like fired from like the weirdest circumstances, right? Because usually you don't like someone who's like consistently fired, but he's always had like some very bizarre firings. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited. I'm very excited. At least I did see some like Jalen Brunson workout videos, so I'm excited to see what he's going to be like under Mike Brown. Like if De'Aaron Fox can have a career year, right? If Fox and Sabonis can have career years under Brown, I would assume Brunson and Towns are also going to have career years, and it's not. And Towns already had a career year, so like I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the team presented in a different context. With I mean, this is kind of the case with most coaches, but if you have that guy for 5 years, you kind of know what his tendencies and habits and preferences are. And Tibbs, in that sense, is more extreme than almost any other coach in the league. So there's no ambiguity. There was not going to be any ambiguity about how the team was used, how guys' roles were defined, what guys' roles were, what rotations looked like. I think it would have been played out the same way. What we saw this year, which was kind of dispiriting in many ways. So, whether they made the right decision or not in terms of hiring Mike Brown, I can't tell you. But as far as moving on from Tibbs, I do think that was the right decision, and I am looking forward to it. I guess is probably the best thing I can say.
Yeah, me too.
So I did want to talk about a few things that are not
Let's
necessarily or
let's
are
do it.
not
I want to hear it.
Knicks related. So CBS
What are we
Sports
doing?
CBS Sports dropped an article this past week. This was on what is that? That's July 22nd. That was Tuesday. They dropped an article about sorry, the top. So they just ranked the front offices in the NBA, and I just don't understand all of the list fully, which is fine. Like honestly, I tend to kind of like give a lot of grace in stuff like this because ranking every fucking team in the league in anything or like any list is just kind of
Yeah.
a subjective thing, and it's hard when it's a longer list. So, it's like does more than anything, I'm just like, do these things broadly make sense? And for the most part, I actually think that Sam did a pretty decent job here. I did have some issues with kind of like some teams' placement. So I want to get into that.
Hmm.
This is he did a ranking back in February where he first ranked all 30. So this is an updated list. He has the Spurs ranked 3. The Spurs they were ranked 3 in February, and I just don't get it. Like in the sense of now, if you just look at like their asset stash and okay, they've done a good job, no question, or no questions about it, no ifs, ands, or buts that they've done a good job of acquiring picks. Um, they still have an unprotected pick and an unprotected swap from Atlanta. Atlanta might be good. They are probably going to be good this upcoming season. So those picks have less value than than I think that you would have thought a few months ago. So that hurts, but they still have they have an unprotected pick swap from the Timberwolves in 2030. We'll see if that amounts to anything. They still have some other stuff, like they have all their own picks. But like, if I look at their roster, and mind
Hmm.
you, they've had a lot of picks in the last 4 or 5 years.
They
There's
have.
only one guy. Yeah, there's only one guy that like I'm like, yeah, this guy's 100%. He is like, I mean, cornerstone piece is probably underselling it, but he's 100% part of their future, and he's going to be great. Victor Wembanyama.
Oh, I
Other
thought you
than
were going to say
that, I look.
Stephen Castle.
Yeah, no, definitely Stefan Castle. Uh, but like other than that, I just look at this team and I'm like, okay, so you drafted Dylan Harper second. I don't know anything about him. Probably, presumably, people that follow the draft and whatever he seems to have a high pedigree coming into the league. So maybe that'll end up being a great pick. But these are chalk picks. Victor Wembanyama was the obvious number 1 pick. Dylan Harper
Hmm.
was the obvious number 2 pick in this year's draft. I don't know how much credit you give to them for that. And really, if more than anything, this is just the result of blind luck. Like they got the Wemby pick and then they jumped up, I think, 5 spots to get the Harper pick.
Yeah.
And other than that, I'm like, okay, I mean, I guess if you like love De'Aaron Fox, you're cool with like, holy shit, that's an amazing trade. They didn't give up too much to get him. But like, I'm sorry, I wanted to clear this up. But they have a pick swap from the Kings in 2030
Hmm.
or 2031, whichever one it is. So anyway, but like they, so like yeah, I mean, I'm not a big De'Aaron Fox guy. I actually kind of didn't. I mean, I guess I'm ambivalent about that trade. Is probably the best way I could put it. I think at the
Hmm.
cost they got him for, it's fine, but I'm not sure I would even want to keep him long term. I think he's a pretty overrated player based on one outlier All NBA season that he had now back in 2022, 23.
Yeah, it was a
And
couple years ago now.
other than that, if you just look at his whole career, he's kind of just been the same guy. He's like a middling efficiency, which is probably being a little bit generous, scorer who is a shaky 3-point shooter. Not a bad one, but a shaky one. He had some weird issues at the line during his career, and like he's not a particularly good defender. So like I don't know, like he's just when he's good, it can be eye catching because he's super fast, he's fun to watch. But like I don't think he's that great of a player, and they have to pay him if they want to keep him They'd have to pay him after this upcoming season when he hits free agency. They could extend him now. I'm not sure he's going to take an extension. We'll see how that plays out. But like, so it's like this team is just, if you take Wemby off this team, what are they really? Like, it's like, okay, so you have, are you, do you love like Devin Vassell? I don't know.
Yeah,
like
it's Vassell, it's Castle, it's Fox, it's Pirtle and Cornette, and Keldon Johnson.
Pirtle's not even there.
Pirtle's gone. I'm sorry, Pirtle's not, you're right. Pirtle's gone. Is gone already, right? So like it's Keldon Johnson, it's Dylan Harper, and it's and
it's your free throw guy.
Sochan.
Sohan.
Sohan.
Just like, there's just not that much there, and it's like, I don't know. I don't have a issue with like saying they're a good front office because they have made good trades to like acquire assets, and their cap sheet they've managed their cap well, and those things are important. But like, the ultimate goal of all of this stuff is, acquiring talent and then building a cohesive roster. And I just don't know how you can look at this team and be like, look, they've been actively bad for what, like 4 or 5 years at this point.
For a good amount of years. Yeah.
So like, I don't know. To me, they should, like, what they are seems like a bare minimum for kind of all of the work they have done. And I don't know. I just have an issue when you have them 3 and the top 2. I don't have an issue with. OKC 1, Boston 2. You can quibble if you want about how these things are placed. I think OKC is kind of unequivocally number 1 right now, even as a hater. But like, if you have an issue with Boston being 2, whatever, I just can't get that upset about it because I think they have, I think Brad Stevens has done a fucking amazing job.
He's done a good job. Yes.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's very unfortunate.
It's terrible.
But like, I don't know, like they have the fucking Spurs ahead of the Rockets. They have the Spurs ahead of the Cavs. They have the Spurs ahead of the Knicks. They have the Spurs ahead of the Pacers, which I think is fucking nuts. And that includes, the whole Miles Turner of it all. Mm-hmm. It's just, I don't know how you can have the Spurs 3 over those teams and probably more that I'm just not thinking of right now.
No, I think if it was just specifically phrased, even though I don't agree, I wouldn't necessarily agree with it, but I think this would be a better way to present it is I'm only putting them 3 because of the luck of Victor Wembanyama, right? Like, I think if you just say it and be like, I'm only doing this because of fortune, I think you can kind of get around. Like, you could get some sort of understanding because like you can't justify it any other way. Right? Like, you can't like come up with any other thing because it really is just like they won the Wemby lottery. Like, congrats for not fucking up that pick. Right? Like, congrats for picking him. Like, I don't know. I think if you're just like, he's the generational guy, the Spurs looked into it, I have no other choice but to put them this high. I guess that's better rationale than what was written, unfortunately. But like, I can't get around to like, I think what you should be doing with this type of stuff for like, how good a front office is ultimately like, where are they and how are they managing the specific expectations of their team that are currently going on, right? Like, I think that's really how you should be doing these things. I guess at least how I would approach it. And I don't think I would be someone who would give bad teams credit for picking high lottery picks. I don't think I would give them that much credit. I think it's fine to say maybe if you drop them down, there's another team. I think I already know who you're going to say is what is absolutely insane in the top 10. But if you just had them like, I don't know, down at like 9 or 10, just to be like, hey man, like they got Wemby. It's kind of hard to like not put them as a top front office. I think that's fine. But no, I'm kind of with you. Like top 3, you're saying they're the 3rd best front office, and it's like will they even make the playoffs next year? Probably, but like, okay, they're not really going to do anything. Like if you're a top 3 front office, I'm expecting a lot of like excellent things to go about, and they didn't do that, right? It's not excellent. It's just they did it. Like they did the right thing, and it's like that's good that they did the right thing.